Hello, hello everybody, how you doing? Is there anybody out there? Well, it's been a couple of months since I looked at Now 105. Have I still got the magic touch? Did I ever have it? Hope you're all doing okay. Finally, I get round to 106. When I did the bulk of these videos, the whole world was in lockdown. Well, we're still not out of the woods in late October, but life goes on. So I hope you've all been safe. Hope you've all been well. This is the nearest I get to a contemporary review, as opposed to an oldies one, although it's kind of old now. Originally released in July, so it's only 3 months old, but I thought I'd get this one in before Now 107 comes out, which probably won't be that long. Top level overview of this season, this series has always been, what are the standout songs? Which songs stood the test of time, all the way from Now 1 to Now 106, which I make 37 years. Wow. Well, we kick this one off with Savage Love. Memo to self, actually tell people what the songs are called. Some of these videos I've watched back and I've not even mentioned the song names. You have always got the track listings to fill in the blanks. So this is HOSH 685 and Jason Derulo, Savage Love. It's actually relaxed siren beat. Jason Derulo's been no stranger to these nows for a good 10 years plus. It's okay, it's a bit drippy, this song. It's very 4-chordy. I don't know if I'd put it as the first song, as the opener. It's okay. It's very kind of Bruno Mars. It's pretty simplistic, but it's not bad as such. Very broad. So maybe it's a kind of fairly middle of the road way of opening this volume. Follow this one up. Watermelon Sugar from Harry Styles. Now it sounds like some kind of advertising jingle. Was it literally about watermelon sugar, or is this some kind of metaphor? Musically, it's got a nice groove. It's got some good rolling guitars in it. And it sounds like they've kind of reappropriated a bit of the Super Furry Animals with I Just Wanna Smoke It. Only in this case it's I Just Wanna Taste It, which is a bit sanitised maybe. Watermelon Sugar. There's Harry Styles. Follow this one up with Break My Heart by Dua Lipa. It's studio trickery time. All sorts of wizardry and gadgets and new bits of machinery. It's got a sort of filtered intro that slowly opens up. It's got some nice fluid bass work on it and some good pianos. The melody and vocals themselves are maybe a bit generic, but the groove is good. Almost 70s disco, even a bit kind of Another One Bites the Dust. So a bit more soul would have been good, but it's not bad. Not bad. Secrets follows Regard and Ray, which has lots of different elements in there. Incredibly 80s sounding synth bass and hand claps, but it's got a kind of deep house groove. The vocals are fairly modern, otherwise it could have almost come from Now 5. Right, we just had the SFA, Super Furry Animals, with I Just Wanna Smoke It, or rather I Just Wanna Taste It. There was another band known as SFA. Do you know who they were? Sweet Female Attitude. Remember that song, Flowers? Now, just when this one was going quite well, it's got one of the most awful raps I've ever heard. Yep, it's ostensibly a cover of Flowers, Nathan Dorr featuring JK. The rap is abysmal, but otherwise the song's pretty good. It's good production, nice blend of deep house with some good two-step elements. So, a bit of a curate's egg. Could have been way better if they'd just ditched the rap. Oh well. Breaking Me, Topic, and is that A7S? Excuse pronunciations. It seems like it's based on a kind of familiar melody, but I can't quite place it. I do like the vocals on it, and it's got a nice squelchy deep house bass line. and no rap. So it just goes to show that you can get by without, and indeed it might be better. That's not to say no rap ever on a house tune's been good. It doesn't need it, and it's got to be good if you're going to have it. Otherwise it's pointless. Now, one of my very favourite songs of all time, because I'm a massive Frankie Valli fan, is Can't Take My Eyes Off You. That actually first made an appearance on a Now as part of a Pet Shop Boys, Where the Streets Have No Name, which I think was on Now... Ooh, let me see. Now 20, I think. They actually murdered the song. Lauryn Hill did a much better version, which never made a Now. This takes a different angle on the same song, Can't Take My Eyes Off You. It's Surf Messer and Emily. I'll stick it on. And it's called ILY. I Love You Baby. Yeah, they've just taken a little bit of it and repeated it over and over again, rather than taking a whole song. And as such, it's a bit kind of repetitive. But I do love this bit of music, so I can't totally hate on it. And it certainly does something different with it. The guitars are good as well, but there hardly seems to be any bass in it. So, potentially a good tune there, but I think it's kind of a bit of a missed opportunity to do something really, really spellbinding. It starts off well, but it just doesn't really progress. It's just kind of this for the rest of the song. So anyway, that's ILY. Okay, we follow this one up with Deathbed, Coffee for Your Head, Palfu and Biba Doobie. God, these pronunciations. Let me get this one on. Deathbed. Okay, so it's a bit of a grim topic for a song, really, but maybe strangely appropriate for this year, 2020. It's kind of a death song, or an almost death song. They went back to the 60s with things like Leader of the Pack. Now, I'm wondering if it was intentionally, to sort of resonate with the way things are at the moment, or is it just coincidence? It's not actually that bad. It's kind of original and it's quite heartfelt. The high voices are a bit kind of incongruous, maybe, for sort of a fairly morose topic. You don't really want kind of chipmunks. But it's not bad, yeah. Okay, that's Deathbed. Naked, Jonas Blue and Max. Not the first song that we've had by Jonas Blue. In fact, we've had a fair few. Seems to be on almost every Now. It's pretty good, actually, yeah. Sped up funk disco groove. The rap, again, is a bit superfluous, but it's not as bad as the one on Flowers. Nice clip guitars. Almost a bit Robin Thicke-esque. Midnight. The Hanging Tree, HOSH, HOSH, with 1979, not the 1975, we'll come on to them, I think, featuring Jalja. Blimey. Okay, it's actually one of the best songs yet. Should we stick it on? Yeah. So there we go, Deathbed, Coffee for Your Head, and this one is Midnight. Hanging Tree. Yeah, I like this one. Ministry of Sound. Still going after all these years. Wow. Yeah, spooky house. Good vocals and lyrics on this one. Nice haunting strings. It's fairly gentle, but it's still kind of pumping. Yeah. Clubland 2020 with no clubs to go to. Nice trancey arpeggios in the background, and they're not too in your face, so it's kind of more of a mood piece, really. It is indeed a club song for no clubs, and it works quite well. More house, and this one is Head and Heart, Joel Corey, featuring MNEK. Lots of acronyms around these days, aren't there? Yeah, it's quite banging. It's pretty good. Nothing really wrong with it. So that's good. Head and Heart in lockstep. In this case, Pour the Milk. There's a song name and a half. Pour the Milk. No use crying over spilt milk. Robbie Doherty and Knees. Now it's actually another reworking of an old song. I'll stick it on. Do you know? It's fairly obvious where this comes from. Also another song that made a now in a different remix. So there was Midnight, and here's Pour the Milk. Yep. As I said on the Now 18 video when we did the DNA version, Tom's Diner, obviously it's Suzanne Vega. This was the song that was used, the original a cappella, was used to create MP3 as a frequency. They thought, well, if we can get Tom's Diner sounding good, we can get anything sounding good. This is a good remix, actually. They've actually kept the whole song. There's this weird, sort of slightly discordant effect on the voice. A bit robotic. But it's not like totally robotic. It's just there in the mix. Yeah. I like it. Another contender for Song of the Album. Okie dokie. We'd follow this one up with our old friend Ellie Goulding. She's been smashing out the hits for a good, not quite 10 years, but not far off. Maybe about 8 years now. Her voice is as good as always. Nice choirs in the background. It's a really strong song. Kind of an 80s feel. Could have almost been on Now 9. That's Power by Ellie Goulding, and it's a good song. The Weeknd is back. In Your Eyes. Now the funny thing about this one is it's actually sounds like it's recorded from some muffled old tape. It's got a very, very 80s sound to it, which is not new for The Weeknd. It's slightly muffled in a way, but it's got really good chord sequence and really good vocals. The melody itself maybe is a bit undefined, a bit woolly. Good drum programming though, so that's pretty good. Sam Smith and Demi Lovato, I'm Ready. Well, it's an interesting duet in which they both seem to be talking about some bloke. I don't know if it's the same bloke. Right, okay. The song itself, it sounds like he's saying, I'm Randy, and it sounds like she's saying that as well. So it's got some good bass noises on it, and it's a fairly good combination of melody and electronics. Fairly grandiose in scope. Yeah. We've been waiting patiently for a beautiful lover. He's not a cheater, a believer. He's a warm, warm-blooded achiever. So maybe they're just consoling themselves over the bloke that they've not as yet met. Right, yep, 1975, not 1979. Although it sounds more 1987, really. Wow, there's lots of 87-sounding songs around at the moment. I'll get this one on. Yeah. So this is If You're Too Shy from the 1975. Is that anything to do with Kajagoogoo? Too shy. Listen to that for a 1987 sound. Could be living in a box, couldn't it? I wonder if anyone's ever going to do a cover of I Want to Be Your Drill Instructor. That was a good song from 1987. Pump up the volume. Jack Your Body. Yeah, it's alright actually. For an 80s throwback, or a late 80s throwback, it's pretty good. Weird. Yeah, okay. It sounds a bit like an a-ha B-side, maybe. Another semi-80s sounding one next, and that is Haim and Don't Wanna. Yeah, it's alright. It's got a good melody, it's well sung, good crashing drums. I like it. Okay, right, we've already had Flowers. Now we've got some Daisies. Katy Perry, still going. I always think of her as someone from the past, but she's still around. It's not bad. It's really not my bag, style-wise, but it's not that bad. It's okay, it's quite dynamic. Kygo and One Republic, Lose Somebody. It's a bit boy bandy, but it's not offensive. It's a good message, so it's okay. Right, okay, first of two, Julia Michaels one here. I do not like her voice, I'm afraid. I don't like this sort of fake little girl vocals. I don't like that style of singing. And it's a shame because she kind of instantly spoils it, really. Otherwise, it would be okay. That's JP Sachs and Julia Michaels, If the World Was Ending. Okay, Wait For You, Tom Walker, not bad. I wouldn't skip it if it came on. Again, not really my style. Bit overwrought, but not dangerously so. Okay, now it's the Nightcrawlers, Push Your Feeling On, in Another Guise. Pitbull's already used that one, and the song itself I think was on Now 30, way back from 95. This is AJ Tracy, and Mostak, I'll Get It On, Dinner Guest. Yeah, so it's kind of Nightcrawlers revisited, slowed down a bit. Got some kind of fairly generic rapping on it, UK rapping. It's alright. It's not a bit generic, but it's quite listenable. Much better than Rover. I thought it was about a dog for a moment. It's actually about a car. That's Rover by Simba featuring DTG. Nah, really didn't like that one at all. It's just a different world from where I live. I don't know how real that world is, or if it just exists purely in a recording studio. It just seems like some fantasy lifestyle that really seems out of kilter with like real life at the moment in this year. It's not very appealing, so it's pretty shit. That's Rover, more of a Skoda. Sorry, Don't Need Love, 220 Kid and Gracie. Right, this kept appearing on adverts. I remember I kept skipping it when I was doing the main run of this series, and here it is in its own right. It's another one of that awful little girl voice. Don't like that style of singing. It's obnoxious. All been done before. Music's okay, but it's just tired and lifeless. And I'm sounding tired and lifeless talking about it. Don't Need Love. Okay, Blueberry Faygo, Lil Mosey. Yeah, we're getting a bit shit now. It's another one that's depressingly conformist, totally anonymous, just blends into the crowd. It is well produced, but it's boring. It's got no personality. Doja Cat, it's a bit artificial, just doesn't sound natural. The song's called Like That. It's not very uplifting, it's kind of depressing. As is Party Girl by Stay Solid Rocky. Literally everything in this song's been done before, better, a million times before. It's got no groove, no funk, no spirit, no soul. The pianos are okay, but the vocals are a bit dull, and it's got a kind of auto-tune lifelessness to it. No dynamics whatsoever. I don't know, by Tion Wayne. Dull again. It's too slow. If it was twice the speed, it'd be better. The vocal delivery's not too bad, I suppose. Got the N-word, which is an instant turn-off, whoever says it. Stormzy, who's a featured artist on this, he should know better. It's okay, actually. You know, it's not that bad. But it's, yeah, a bit slow and a bit dull. The Scots, yeah, they're dull as well. The Scots, the song, the Scots, the band, which is actually Travis, That Ilk, and Kid Cudi. Just a bit jaded and lackluster, really. I describe it as music for people who don't like music. Who's that? Niko B. Who's that? What's that? Lasted about 2 seconds. Awful. No interest in that one whatsoever. Now Houdini is a bit of a step up here from KSI featuring Swarms and Tion Wayne again. I'll stick this one on because relatively speaking, it's Houdini bringing us out of a box that we'd found ourselves trapped in. Nice escapism. Yeah, it's a bit more like dancehall, and at least the beat's a bit more funky with a bit of swing to it. So yeah, it's okay. The vocals aren't great. I'm not a big fan of this Tion Wayne character. Sean Paul is back for almost 20 years now. He's been doing pretty much the same song, but it's always alright. This one's kind of gone back to this sort of dancehall style again. That is Calling on Me featuring Tove Lo. Fake Friends from PS1 featuring Alex Hosking. No, I didn't like that one either. I really didn't. Got the F word in it. It's just a bit 2017 sounding. The voice is annoying. I mean, the music's okay, but dull. Nothing special about it. 3 months later and it sounds dated. Right, really good one now. Another contender for Song of the Album. I'll get this one on. This is Tondo. And it's Disclosure. And it's nice, actually. It's really summery. Kind of beach music, very Ibiza, summery house, almost disco even, where disco meets house. Lots of kind of flamenco guitars. Yeah, nice. bit Spiller almost, in that kind of hazy summer vibe. What a shame there were no festivals this year. You could have a virtual festival by listening to this, I suppose. Just don't have more than 6 people around. Right, Save a Kiss. This is another good one. This is very good indeed. It's Jessie Ware. Yeah, I really like this one. It's got a really good synth bass. The vocals aren't brilliant, but they're not offensive. Some nice strings to it. And the good spell continues with Youngblood and Weird. Quite rocking actually. Good fast beat. Got a bit more oomph to it. Bit more of an 80s sound with a kind of pulsating synth bass. A little bit boy bandy, but not off-puttingly so. Talking of boy bands, Ronan Keating. Little Thing Called Love. Well, he's an elder statesman of music now. Been a good 25 years plus that he's been on the scene. Not really my bag, but it is what it is. It's kind of boomer music, he said. Not boombox music. It's alright. Talking of boomers, Paul Weller and Village. Yeah, wow, it's always nice to have Paul Weller back, who started his Now career with the Style Council way back on Now 3. And this is really, really nice song. Very soulful, very pure, doesn't sound dated. Could have been released any time from pretty much the 70s to now. Would have been a hit at any time in that. Village, yeah, I really like that one. Paul Weller. And Surrender, Natalie Taylor. Again, it's more that little girl voice thing. It's kind of quality music, not really my thing. Bit slow. It's not really bad, it's just not for me. No Right to Love You, Reese Lewis, ditto, not really my thing. It's a bit kind of JP Cooper, but not as good. Another ballad. I can't really knock it as such. And finally, we have You'll Never Walk Alone. Has this song ever made a Now before? Let me just get you a bit of background on the song, because it's a really, really old song. I was thinking of Ferry Cross the Mersey. You'll Never Walk Alone. Yeah, good song for the times. This version is a rather intriguing mixture of Captain Tom Moore, Michael Ball, and the NHS Voices of Care Choir. Pretty difficult to judge it musically. I don't think it's really intended for such purposes. Let's just politely say it's probably not my favourite version of it. You really can't beat the Cherry and the Pacemakers, which wasn't the original. It's a show tune. It's 1945 it was written. It was from Carousel, which I think also had Happy Talk in it, and maybe some other songs that have been on Nows. Obviously, it's mainly associated with Liverpool Football Club, or it has been in the past. So there's something, fairly resonant about the fact that Liverpool's in Tier 3 as I speak. This song is kind of associated, with 99-year-old Captain Tom Moore. Has he made 100 yet? And it's very much associated with, the COVID thing. So there we go. Right, let's have a roundup then of this album. I've actually pretty much enjoyed it. There's been a few bad songs, but they've all been lumped together. But there's been a lot of good about it. So, for a fairly depressing time for a lot of people, it's some good uplifting music on here. Like this. Probably a contender for Song of the Album. If we go through then, what are the real classics? Right, okay, well, let's see. ILY was quite interesting, I think. I wouldn't say it's a classic, but if it introduces anyone to Frankie Valli and Can't Take My Eyes Off You, that's got to be good. I think Secrets was alright. That was pretty good. What else have we got on here? That's good. Naked was alright. I think Midnight, I was going to say The Secret Garden, The Hanging Garden. That's a real good, a Hanging Tree even. HOSH with 1979. Yeah, that one's good. Head and Heart's good. Pour the Milk, that's a pretty good version of Tom's Diner. Power is maybe not one of Ellie Goulding's real classics. I think that Close to Me one's probably her most classic. But it's okay. I'm Ready is okay. Sam and Demi. Weekend's pretty good. In Your Eyes, If You're Too Shy. Don't Wanna, they're all good. Didn't really like If the World Was Ending. Then there's some fairly bad ones. Houdini's good. KSI. This is possibly song of the album. Disclosure, Tondo, Save a Kiss, Jessie Ware's good. Youngblood, Weird's good. And Village, Paul Weller's very good indeed. So there we go. I've got it done in time. Just before Now 107 comes out. I hope I've still got the X Factor, if indeed I ever had it. I've watched back some of my videos. I think they're quite entertaining. I entertain myself. And the stats have not been bad, actually. I've had a good 200 video views, which I was really not expecting. I thought I'd be lucky to get about 20, to be honest. Add them all together. We've had a few thousand views, maybe even 10,000. So yeah, not bad. Certainly more than any other videos I've done. There we go. It's not done for the public. It's not done for, for you guys as such. But on a wider level, it is part of a wider thing of what we as a society think of these songs. I'm just one guy. My opinions don't amount to anything more than a springboard to get you guys talking and thinking and listening and dancing and loving. So on that note, let's see what happens with Now 107. Take care, everybody. See you later.